Days like today are perfect. I took an awesome trade, perfect trade, and not only did I stick to every single rule, I did everything that I wanted to do. I was patient, I waited, I wasn't absorbed in the trade, I played defense, right? I did everything that I needed to do in order to be successful today, and it worked out extremely well. So let's go through today's trade um, to start. Today we took an awesome trade from value area lows. So in fact, let's go and rewind for a second, just so that way we have a little bit of bias. Um, Looking at the chart here, bullish, heading up. At this point here, like I said, I only sell at value area highs. I only buy at value area lows. I'm doing my best to keep my trading as simple as possible. And at this point here, you can see this is at around 717. Obviously, at this time, I'm not in the trade. I start trading at about 8 o'clock here, right? So it's rejecting value area high. So if you took a short here, it would have worked out. However, I came into the market on this candle right here, this volatility candle, this Tokyo Open right here. And it was heading down. So a lot of times that kind of clues me in like, okay, you shouldn't be taking a trade here. If I actually go on replay and look and see at this candle, I was literally thinking about, ooh, maybe I can take a bullish trade here. And this is something that I probably would have done in the past. The reason why is because of the fact that we look like we are heading higher, increased volume right before the Tokyo Open. Maybe they're gearing up to show that we're heading higher. And as the next candle comes, you'll see that we actually do spike up. So I was really tempted to buy here, right? But like I said, I'm trying to do my best to keep it as simple as possible and stick to every single rule. It spiked down. At this point, we do have a prior day value area low, which is awesome, right? But we have to play off the current session. These levels are really important based off of if we're bouncing off of these levels on high volume, right? If we're planning to buy. And same thing with prior day value area high too, if we are rejecting um, off those levels too. But we didn't do any of that. Instead, we just kind of held here, right? The old me would have bought. I probably would be stopped out coming up soon, but instead we waited. Value area lows come, we spike through it, and then boom, bounce off, right? The old me would have been so upset, like, we're supposed to be going short. The old me is like a few days ago, by the way. It's not like, it's like 2 years ago, but the old me is like 3 days ago. But I'd be like, we're supposed to be going short. Why aren't we going short? We rejected prior day value area lows. We had this huge volatility candle to the downside, but it's like, no, like, literally, keep it simple. You buy at discount, you sell at premium. That's it, right? So this is discount. Look at all of these buyers coming in. Now, of course, these could be people covering, right? Especially people who got in here and sold down here or bought back their positions back here, right? But this high volume, this full body green candle is not signaling that to me, especially after a hammer, right? So at this point here, you can see I start to add. But it wasn't on this candle that I added. What I did was I was so patient. I waited. I wanted to add three contracts limit order for when we head lower. We headed lower. Then I wanted to add two on the break of this candle. So we did that, right? Then we added one. I think we added one here on this candle after a hammer. We added another two here on the break of this candle, right? So everything was perfect. And then from then on, we just started playing defense. We got in first position at 884.50. We went all the way to about 914, I believe. 913. That's awesome, right? That's almost a 30-point play. Now, did we capture all 30 points? No, but that's completely okay, right? What we did instead is we played defense. First, we took a couple off here. We said, thank you for playing, Vic. You're going to get paid for playing, right? And that's awesome. Actually, initially, I wanted to say this too. I think the only thing that wasn't perfect about today was once I added my position, my initial stop loss was here at 867, right? So below this low. I always like to play a little bit lower. So once that stop loss was set after the full position, it was about $335 or so. So I was like, it's a little bit more than what I wanted, but it was okay because I knew in reality my actual stop would be here at 870 below this low because I'm like, okay, if we're below this low, then I know that we need to get out. And that was at $288. So still within the parameters. But other than that, everything is perfect. We headed up. We took a couple off. We said thanks for playing. After that, we took another one off too because we started to slow. Again, playing defense. I was setting stop sells, right, just in case we have a spike lower. Made sure to move my stop loss now to this point right here. So now our original stop was at 335. Our original take profit was at 412 in terms of the profit and loss. That's what I mean, not the levels of NQ. But then it ended up reducing. At one point, it was about, I think it was like 240, $250 to $110 loss, right? Because again, the power of a dynamic stop loss, the power of removing your positions, right? That's something that I learned from Short Bus, who's in the Discord. So thanks to him, because he just kind of got it through my head that at some point, yes, you are taking off your position earlier than your ultimate profit target, right? And you are capping your upside, but you're also reducing your downside. And mentally, for myself as a trader, that is so important to be able to do that. I need to do that just for my own mental health, for my own sake while trading, because it is stressful. I can't lie, I was a little bit nervous today because a lot of times when things are going well, I saw this on I think it was Twitter. When things are going well, like it actually kind of makes you a little bit more nervous, right? Because you've finally found something that's working or it's been working for a little while now, and you just want it to continue. You want it to work. But it could always turn the corner where it's like, okay, it doesn't work anymore, right? So that's why you get a little bit nervous. I was nervous kind of coming into the to I can't speak. I was nervous coming into to today. Um, jeez. Um, but we executed our plan perfectly. We did exactly what we needed to do perfectly. And then here you can see take profit was at these value area highs. Value area high did shift a little bit lower by the time we got up there, I think. So it was about 908.50. Ultimately hit our ultimate target of 913, right? We wanted 914, but it hit 913, then it headed lower. Um, Again, playing it well. We let one runner go, but we ended up getting stopped out 908. We took off most of our position right before our ultimate profit target. We let one go just in case, but we put a stop sell at value area high, right? So even though we bounced, we came up here, ended up coming down, stopped down 908, and we're done. So honestly, really good day. I have to admit, we have been trading better. I feel like I finally, I always love looking at this too. I don't know why YouTube chooses this as my thumbnail a lot, and I don't pick my own thumbnails, but YouTube tends to look at this as a really good thumbnail. I don't know why. I would feel like this would be a better thumbnail. Um, but anyway, it doesn't matter. But honestly, I feel like we finally have found what we needed to do, right? We need to be simple. We need to keep things simple. We just need to buy at value area lows and we need to sell at value area highs. Now, there's something that I did want to mention too, because someone can easily come in here and look at this and be like, well, why don't you just sell here, right? You took profit here. Why don't you just sell here? The key thing that you have to do, and I guess I'm kind of um, giving some advice on volume profile. I'm not a mentor, I'm not a teacher, right? I'm still learning. I have so much to learn in this game. But the key thing about volume profiles, you have to look left, right? So at this point here, Before I started trading, I'm looking left. We're bullish. I mean, that's such a nice move higher, right? And at this point, we're stair stepping our way down. I guess you could call it barcoding our way down, right? And we come down to now discount, right? There's no huge rejection off value area highs. So this high volume candle on the 1 minute and even on the 5 minute too, if you look at the 5 minute as well, at that point, it's keying you in like, okay, you can actually get in here now, right? Even if you lose, your stop loss is in a reasonable place, but your upside is at a very reasonable place, right? So that's why I decided to buy. But would I sell here? No, because there's nothing so far that has keyed us in that we should be heading lower, right? Look at these red candles. They're not of significant volume. They're not full body red candles, right? This is the perfect candle. These are not, right? This is a momentum play, but still, it's not a good indicator for you to sell here. Now, if we get a high rejection on high volume here, then continue up for a pullback and then another high rejection on high volume, absolutely. You can sell here and aim for value area lows. But we're not getting that. And that is why you don't just short automatically at certain areas and you don't just buy automatically at certain areas too. So yeah, this is going well, right? So we've struggled this month for sure, but it's always a sign of, I guess you could say, a good trader, right? And a sign of being able to adapt when you're muddling through things, you're struggling through things, and you're still able to get it done. I know in physical therapy, we kind of talk about that too, where a lot of times in physical therapy, we're not specialists, especially coming out of school. So I've been a PT for about 2 years now. And as a PT, we're coming out as generalists. We're not specializing in ortho, we're not specializing in neuro, we're not specializing in cardio pulm, we're not specializing in anything. Once we actually get our job and we start working, we can work to then specialize in certain areas, right, of physical therapy because physical therapy, most people don't know, but it is so vast. When I first wanted to be a physical therapist, I wanted to work with the sports population. As I got older, I realized I wanted to work with the general population. But these were for like general things such as like, oh, someone sprained their ankle or they hurt their knee or they just tore their ACL, things like that, right? But what I'm doing right now is not anything I envisioned I thought I'd be doing. No, that's another story for another day, but I literally work in the hospital, right? You can work in the ICU, the intensive care unit. You can work on different floors, right? That have neuro, so like neuro, that have cardio, that have ortho, that have whatever, right? And you have to be a generalist. You have to understand that there are times where you might be pulled. My position, I get pulled all over the place. I work on every floor. I do outpatient. I do whatever. And there are certain things that I am not very familiar with, but I muddle my way through, right? And we talk about that in PT. That's always a good sign of a good therapist that it's not like they just give up when they encounter something that they're not familiar with or that they're not used to. They still have all of that information that they learned from school and any other continuing education courses that we've taken in order to help us whenever we encounter situations that we're not used to. The same goes for my trading. I've gotten to the point where I was struggling, right? I didn't really understand what I needed to be doing. I lost the plot, basically. But as of late, we've been able to regain it. Now, it doesn't mean anything, right? We're trading better, we're trading well, but we've been muddling our way through, but we're still coming out on top, right? So we have to be able to stay confident. I can't joke around, right? I was just about to make a joke. Well, tomorrow I might end up losing all the profit I just made this week. It's like, no, forget that. We're going to come out here. We're going to do the same thing tomorrow. We're going to look to buy at discount. We're going to look to sell at premium. It's that simple. It's not easy, but it's that simple. And if we continue to do that, we continue to stick to what we need to do, hopefully we can fill this calendar up with mostly green, mostly profit, Maybe we end up taking a payout in the future, right? But I'm not looking to, in the past, my first two payouts, especially my first one, as soon as I was eligible and I had a decent amount, I was like, I'm taking it, right? But at this point right now, I'm like, I don't really care. I want to make sure that I trade well. I'm able to sustain the account. I can build the balance up. I would love to build the balance over $2,000, but realistically, it's like, okay, if I can get it to 1,500 to 2,000, then I'm gonna take a payout most likely, right? But I want to get to that point where it's like, okay, cool, like you're winning now, you're doing better, you're doing what you need to do in order to improve, and you stick with it, and you're patient, and you're not FOMOing. I believe that we can do it. So, yeah, guys. Anyway, that's it for today's video. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well. We got one more day to trade in this week, so I really do hope that you guys are doing well. Obviously, CPI happened today. It hasn't happened for me yet because again, I trade Wednesday night, right? So Thursday's when it comes out. So hopefully you guys stayed safe, didn't blow any accounts. But if you did, again, you're gonna bounce back. You just have to hone in on the things that you're supposed to do in order to help improve yourself as a trader. So anyway, guys, yeah, that's it for this video today. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Hopefully you guys are trading well. And yeah, keep trading stoically.